What if I told you that your green card, even after it has been approved, is not completely safe? That DHS can go back years later, look at how you entered America and decide actually that approval was a mistake. That sounds a bit extreme, right? But that is exactly what just happened to a real person with a real green card who had been living legally in America for 2 years. He was working, paying taxes, building a life, and then out of nowhere, a letter arrived from DHS. The letter said, "Your green card was approved in error. Come to immigration court." Now you'll be thinking, what the hell? So today in this very special segment, we'll tell you the full story and we'll also tell you that why every Indian with a green card or working toward one needs to understand this right now. Hi everybody, my name is Neha Upadhyay and you all are watching eCodes Global. So let us first talk about what just happened. A lawful permanent resident, someone who had been living legally in America with a green card for more than 2 years, received a notice to appear, NTA. That is the legal document that starts deportation proceedings. And what did DHS say in that NTA? DHS said, your adjustment of status was approved by mistake. Adjustment of status, for anyone who does not know, it is the process where someone already inside America applies for a green card without leaving the country. Now DHS is saying that approval, the one that gave this person their green card 2 years ago, was wrong and they want to undo it in an immigration court after 2 years. That is what actually happening. Now here is the legal background behind this case and I'm going to explain it as simply as I can. There is an immigration court decision called Matter of Quilantan. It involves something very specific. What happens when someone arrives at a US airport or border crossing and instead of going through a full formal inspection, they are simply waved through. The officer looks at them, says okay and lets them pass without properly checking their documents, without even stamping their passport, just go ahead. Now under US immigration law, to apply for a green card from inside America, you generally need to have been properly inspected and admitted by an immigration officer. And DHS is now arguing in certain cases that being waved through is not the same as being properly admitted. Which means for some people, their green card approval could be challenged because technically DHS says they were never properly admitted in the first place. Now let's talk about the Indian connection and let's talk about exactly why this matters for Indians. So I have one question. How many Indians arrive at US airport every single day on H-1B visa, on F-1 student visa, on B-2 visitor visa, L-1 visa, O-1 visa, every category? They land, they go through immigration and sometimes specifically during peak travel times or when the airport is busy or simply because the officer is moving quickly, they are waved through. Passport not fully stamped, documents not carefully checked and the person walking through has no idea anything unusual happened. They just started their life in America. Years later, they applied for a green card. They also got approved, moved on, but if DHS now decides to go back and look at how they originally entered and decides they were not properly admitted, that old green card approval could be challenged. Even years later, even after 2 years of legal residency, that is the reality this case has opened up. Now, how worried should you be? See, one case does not mean everyone is at risk. The attorney who shared this story was very clear about that. Every immigration case is unique. A single NTA does not mean DHS is going to start mass challenging every green card approved under similar circumstances. But here is what this case does tell us. DHS is willing to go back to look at old approved cases to challenge approvals that everyone thought were final and done. And in 2026, with the Trump administration pushing immigration enforcement harder than any administration in decades, the fact that they are doing this at all is something every green card holder needs to know. Why? Because if it happened to this person, it can happen to others as well. It can happen to anyone. Now let's talk about what this means practically. See, if you entered America and you are not completely sure your entry was properly documented, if you were waved through without a clear passport stamp, if your I-94 record seems unclear or incomplete, this is the time to act. Not because you are definitely at risk, but because in 2026, not knowing is dangerous, and understanding exactly how you entered America and whether that entry meets the legal requirements for adjustment of status is something every green card holder should have complete clarity on right now. So what you should do right now? Clearly, three major things that you can do right now. First thing, pull out your old entry documents, your I-94 record, your passport. Look at your stamps from when you first entered America, and if anything seems unclear, if you are not 100% sure your entry was fully and properly documented, talk to an immigration attorney this week. Second thing, if you are currently in the adjustment of status process, tell your attorney exactly how you entered America. Tell every detail, whether you went through a full inspection, whether your passport was stamped, whether you were waved through, all of it. Don't hide anything from your immigration attorney. Last but not the least, if you ever receive any notice from DHS or USCIS about your green card, do not ignore it. Do not wait. Talk to, again, your immigration attorney immediately, because these notices have strict deadlines and missing them can have consequences that last a lifetime. So I think I am very clear about what I wanted to convey. If you still have some questions, any queries, you can let us know in the comment section. That's all in this video. See you in the next one. Till then, this is me, Neha Upadhyay, signing off.